rock bottom. I can tell you what it feel like. It make you go and get some money. Get some money. Ooh, yeah.
I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
Oh, I like it.
I just, there's no meaning to any of this, so I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am.
But there's also a lot of really, really sick, corrupt people in this industry. And there are people in this industry who have gotten away with it for so long that they feel they're above the law. And that's got to change. That's got to stop.
Jim Carey recently made terrifying revelations about abuse in Hollywood, especially how celebrities engage in certain abuse rituals in exchange for fame and money. Jim has always referred to Hollywood as an evil place where the only thing that matters is money and power. He even hinted that this is why he decided to leave the industry, which he announced last year. But Jim is not the only celebrity that has called out the industry for its abuse rituals. Some even went as far as calling out pedophilia in the industry. And the one thing all the whistleblowers have in common is being labeled by the media as crazy. So what are these so-called abuse rituals all about, and who are the people perpetuating them? Let's find out. Jim Carey has always called out Hollywood for what it is without caring how that may affect him or who may get offended by his statements. Jim Carey had a very successful career as an actor and comedian, gaining a large fan base in the process. That's why it was so surprising when he announced he was tired of showbiz. In a 2018 interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Jim explained the reason why he was taking a step back from entertainment was that he didn't want to be in the business anymore. This came as a shock to many fans who were used to seeing his brilliant performances on screen. However, he explained that the industry was growing increasingly influenced by the drive for money, and it was taking the soul away from the art. He no longer felt happy about acting, which once gave him much joy. But that's not all. Jim has also famously called out the industry for preying on children and abusing artists who didn't want to conform to the Hollywood abuse rituals. But Jim is just one of many artists who have bravely talked about Hollywood's abuse rituals. For example, an interesting twist was added to the theory of Hollywood rituals when the Orange is the New Black star Taryn Manning talked about being offered gold juice on the Whitney Cummings podcast. Now, Taryn is one of those artists that the media likes to present as crazy because of the personal issues and substance abuse she once dealt with. That's why many people didn't initially take it seriously when she talked about Hollywood. But this gold juice conspiracy gained traction and got people talking. So, what was the purpose of this gold juice? For context, this gold juice conspiracy came up when Taryn talked about how the amount of evil in Hollywood is crazy. She named celebrities like Britney Spears and the late Brittany Murphy as examples of celebrities whose souls were dismantled by Hollywood. Britney delved into her conservatorship years and how she was forced to keep quiet about her abuse, how her money was kept from her, and how she had to resort to drugs as a coping mechanism. She also talked about Justin Timberlake and the pregnancy she had to abort while sitting in her bathtub suffering unimaginable pain. On top of everything, we all witnessed how Justin, with the help of the media, slut-shamed Britney, painted her as crazy, and discredited her. Anyway, back to the gold juice. Taryn told Whitney that she was offered this gold juice 3 times throughout her career, and she refused each time. According to her, gold juice came with the promise of eternal life, fame, and unimaginable wealth. She claimed many Hollywood stars achieved immense success after taking the gold juice. And the reason why her career suffered is that she refused to drink the gold juice. Apparently, if you refuse to accept the gold juice, they send someone disguised as a friend or mentor to destroy your mental health. But when Whitney asked if it was literal juice or a metaphor for a Hollywood ritual, Taryn said she didn't know, but it could be. However, she emphasized that it was a very real thing. Whitney jokingly referred to adrenochrome, leading to a conspiracy theory people developed about gold juice. While some believed Taryn was pulling a prank on the audience, others felt gold juice might have a more sinister meaning. Specifically, some believe gold juice was some elixir that Hollywood elites used to keep themselves younger and more powerful. There were also theories of how gold juice is made from blood plasma gotten from unsuspecting children, which is what makes it so potent. These are all just conspiracies, of course, but gold juice does sound sinister. Also, Taryn is not the only celebrity who has talked about strange occultic rituals being done in the industry and then gotten labeled as crazy. Another celebrity with a similar experience is Cat Williams, who is known as much for his comedy as his scathing remarks about Hollywood. Cat once talked about black men in the industry being forced to humiliate themselves for fame. According to him, one of the ways the industry perpetuates these humiliation rituals is by making it compulsory for black men to wear dresses on screen before they are allowed to be successful. Cat dissed celebrities like Steve Harvey and Kevin Hart in relation to this issue. He accused Steve of being part of the people who made Hollywood toxic for black men by asking them to wear dresses on his show. As for Kevin Hart, Cat called him out for sacrificing his personal values just for fame and money, claiming Kevin sold his soul for coins. Kevin, as we know, has been on screen wearing a dress. According to Cat, this is one of the rituals Kevin had to fulfill to make it to the next level of his career. Interestingly, Dave Chappelle has said something similar to what Cat is saying. When Dave Chappelle appeared on The Oprah Show in 2006, he revealed that he once turned down a $50 million deal because it came with the condition that he would become a puppet for Hollywood elites. He also talked about how these big media companies were offering him money to write sketches that made people laugh at him, not with him. Like if he didn't do something to humiliate himself, he wouldn't be allowed to get rich and famous. Part of those humiliation rituals, he claimed, was making black men wear a dress on screen before they could be famous. Dave recalled how he was once asked to wear a dress for a movie he was starring in alongside Martin Lawrence. He said getting told to wear a dress made him start connecting the dots and realizing that many other black men have been asked to do the same or make other sacrifices to make it big in the industry. Naturally, the media has relentlessly tried to paint Cat as a bitter, crazy, washed-up comedian looking for clout. Cat himself admitted that his candid approach to life hasn't gotten him many friends, because people like him who say the truth are often blacklisted by the industry. But for Cat, being honest and true to one's values is more important to winning and dining with the Hollywood elites, who all had to sacrifice something to get a seat at the table. Yes, sacrifice something. Sources say celebrities often have to sacrifice something or someone dear to them for fame. For example, Kanye West has talked about his mother, Donda, being sacrificed by the industry. In 2015, Ye told GQ about his mother's death and how he blamed himself for it. He said, "If I had never moved to LA, she'd still be alive. I don't want to go far into it because it'll bring me to tears." Then, in 2022, a paparazzi video surfaced where Ye talked about Hollywood sacrificing his mother. He then ranted about how he could not be controlled like other black celebrities because he had never killed anybody, and he didn't take nonsense from anybody. But he didn't stop there. Ye talked about how many celebrities in the industry, like Michael Jordan, Shaq, Charles Barkley, LeBron James, and Jay-Z, are being controlled by the powers that be, hinting that, like him, they have all had to sacrifice something for their fame. Apart from all these sacrifices and initiation rituals, Jim Carey has called the industry out for preying on children. Famous child stars like Justin Bieber have come out to explain how the industry objectified, assaulted, and harassed them to the extent that they got hooked on drugs to cope with the pain. Another child star, Corey Feldman, once exposed Hollywood for the pedophile breeding ground that it is. Corey made his screen debut at 3 in a TV commercial. He would grow up to have a fulfilling acting career, starring in blockbusters like Friday the 13th, Gremlins, The Goonies, and Stand By Me. But being propelled into the spotlight at such a young age had dire consequences. According to Corey, he and other young stars lost their their innocence in childhood to pedophiles in the industry and other adults who stood by and profited from child exploitation.
I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia. That's the biggest problem for children in this industry.
The casting couch even applies to children.
Oh yeah.
Corey said that pedophilia in Hollywood is this open secret that everyone knows about. Still, nobody talks about it because they are part of the perpetrators or are afraid of retribution for speaking out. Because the perpetrators are these old Hollywood men with immense power and connections, or men who were affiliated with these powerful men, and they have abused thousands of children in Hollywood. But because they've gotten away with so much for so long, they feel they are above the law. Corey then revealed that when he was just a teenager, there were always abusers lurking around him like vultures, taking advantage of him and his late best friend, Corey Haim. Unfortunately, he said they were too young to realize what was being done to them was wrong. It was only when he grew up that he realized that not only was it wrong, but that pedophilia was so deeply entrenched in Hollywood that there might never be a solution to it. Although he said he couldn't name names, Corey even went as far as saying that it was the abusee. His best friend Corey Haim suffered at the hands of a Hollywood mogul that resulted in his untimely death. According to him, predators in the industry use drugs and illegal substances to get their victims hooked so they can be easily controlled. As a result, these victims start depending on substances to cope with their demons. Eventually, they either die from substance abuse or get discredited when they come out with their stories. If all of those options fail, they try to kill them. Corey has even disclosed an attempt made on his life right after he started outing Hollywood abusers, where 2 trucks came speeding at him on the highway. At this point, there is a clear pattern of whistleblowers getting threatened, drugged, disappearing, or dying under mysterious circumstances. Even when a documentary titled "An Open Secret Exposing Child Predators in Hollywood" was made, they found a way to repress it and ensure it didn't get much publicity. So, Corey's statements made fans enraged about the abuse that child actors have to face in Hollywood. This led one fan to say, "Honestly, it should be illegal to exploit kids at such a young age. They should go by the same law as everyone else and not be able to work until the proper age. That way, sick stuff like this doesn't happen. There has been too many cases already." Another person took it a step further, saying, "OMG, I can't stop crying for these innocent children actors. Like, I'm in tears. I can't imagine putting babies and children through such inhumane acts. This has to be stopped ASAP. I wouldn't mind going undercover following these sickos. And if I can get a team of legit people, I would love to put this plan into action. I am not scared of these evil, nasty industry people. I'm bringing my best in protecting these babies at all costs." Interestingly, though, actor and manager Chris Cinder noted that most child stars don't even want to be child stars.
Is there a dark side to child stardom?
Definitely. I think a lot of kids don't really want to do it. I think that the parents want to do it more than the kids.
And he would know, having managed so many iconic stars, including Corey Feldman, Drew Barrymore, and River Phoenix, who died tragically at the age of 23. According to Chris Snyder, child stars usually want to have a normal life in childhood, not have their innocence stolen from them. However, it is the parents who typically want the stardom more than the kids. So they push their ambitions forward at the expense of their children. Now check this out. Jim believes the government is aware of all the atrocities being committed in Hollywood, but they choose to do nothing about it. Remember how Jim made the Illuminati sign during his appearance on Jimmy Kimmel's show in 2014? Jim came to that interview guns blazing, because the first thing he said was that he was there to expose all the nasty secrets and evil rituals done by the Hollywood rich and famous. After his remarkable entrance, where he showed off the Illuminati sign, Jimmy asked Jim what sign he was doing. Jim responded by saying Jimmy ought to know what the sign was, as everyone in Hollywood knew it was the sign of the Illuminati, and they were all in on it. Jim then pointed out that even the government knew about the evils of Hollywood, and they helped cover it up by using celebrities and the media to distract people from important issues. He also hinted at naked rituals that powerful people perform in the woods when they make decisions that affect everyone's lives. The scary thing about Jim's ordeals is that barely a year after he made those comments, his ex-girlfriend, Catriona White, OD'd at the age of 30, resulting in her untimely death. Catriona's ex-husband and her family brought a lawsuit against Jim, alleging that he introduced her to drugs, mental abuse, and disease, which led to her suicide. An incriminating note found on Catriona's iPad, supposedly written 2 years before her death, made things even worse for Jim. In the note, she claimed that Jim gave her STIs, introduced her to drugs, abused her, and threw her aside after using her. Because of this note and the wrongful death suit brought against Jim, the media started demonizing him and blaming him for Catriona's death. However, the lawsuit was later dismissed, and Jim countersued for extortion, claiming, unfortunately, the damage was already done. So, although Jim returned to the acting scene, things were never quite the same. Among other things, this is probably why he announced that he would be leaving the industry for good. When asked why he made that decision, Jim said something referencing Will Smith's Oscar slap incident, implying that Will Smith was made to slap Chris Rock to maintain his position in the industry. Jim previously went off about the slap during a conversation with Gayle King on CBS Morning.
What did you think as you watched it unfold, and then what happened after?
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
There was some question today about if anyone else had walked from the audience and done that, they would have been escorted out by security or maybe even arrested. The police asked Chris if he wanted to file charges. They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd have announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous. You know, that insult is going to last a very long time. If you want to yell from the audience and disapprove or show a disapproval or say something on Twitter or whatever, you do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words.
No, I agree. I think we all agree on that. I just thought, Jim, that it escalated to that. You know what I mean? That it escalated to that level.
It didn't escalate. It came out of nowhere because Will has something going on inside him that's frustrated, and I wish him the best. I really do. I don't have anything against Will Smith. He's done great things. But that was not a good moment. It cast a pall over everybody's shining moment.
Expressing his disapproval of how Will handled the situation. According to him, even if Will felt offended by the joke Chris Rock made about Jada's alopecia, he could have handled it better than getting violent on stage. Jim was even more disgusted by other celebrities' reactions to the slap, especially the standing ovation Will received when he won Best Actor. He believed the reaction showed how spineless most people in Hollywood are, as they couldn't take a stand even after witnessing such improper acts. According to Jim, the fact that Chris Rock decided not to file a police report was unbelievable. He said that if he were in Chris's shoes, he would have filed a lawsuit seeking $200 million in damages because the video of him getting smacked on stage will remain on the internet forever.
To Jim Carey. Wait, tell me, is it true you're wandering the streets? You need a date to the party? What's up?
No. I'm doing just fine. There's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am.
They're celebrating.
You got to admit it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating
Do you believe
icons.
in icons?
Boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with.